families started making quilts for friends who had babies. Crib quilts. They never used them, even though they were made to be washed over and over and over again. They started putting them in their kids' rooms over the cribs. So I thought, well, God, that's really cool. I think I'll do that. So then I made some for my kids, and they didn't get to throw up on them or poop on them or anything. And I put them on the walls, and then I started giving them to people as still functional at that point, but they could hang them up if they wanted to because I put a sleeve on the back. And then eventually I just stopped worrying about function and just made them to be decorative. This is an example of the 3 layers of a quilt. Here's the backing fabric, and the white in the center is the batting. And then this is the top layer, the white, and then on top of that I've stitched other bits. And so this is kind of applique, stitching all these other bits on top. But it's basically just the 3 layers, the back, the batting, and the top. The top and the bottom layer are the netting from the tomato and orange bags. And then the center, instead of being batting, is scraps of cut up pieces of art news magazines, because they have a lot of text, so you can always find some black and white. But they also have a lot of color in their ads and in their articles. For a long time, I didn't belong to any kind of quilt organization because I really felt kind of an oddball, because I never, even when I made quilts that were functional, I never followed patterns. I just did the kinds of things that I wanted to do, and I cut out shapes and appliqued them on. And but if I'd had a bunch of people telling me, well, that's not how you do it, then I probably would have stopped. It's stifling. So if you want to get away from traditional and get more contemporary, you have to find people who like that kind of thing and who can give you support when you try something new. And it's not always going to be something that you like. You end up with something you think, okay, well, I could cut that up into stripes and use it again. Another thing is there are a lot of books at the library. Some of them I may have
that you need to return.
That are overdue. Yeah.
We could take them back with us.
That you might have to.
We'll return them for you.
That tell you how to start things by just cutting up different pieces in different shapes and putting them down on a background and stitching them on. I've heard women, and I assume that they were traditional quilters, say, well, I just don't, why is this here? And why all these bottle caps? I mean, I just don't get it. And I heard some women, and I went over and I was going to say to them, well, what is it about this quilt that, not saying, of course, it's mine, that you don't like? And then one of them said, well, I don't like anything about it. And I thought, well, okay, that's, I don't need to investigate. I had a quilt at the Pioneers Museum that had these little pop cans. I made sequins out of pop cans, and then I put them on with the grommets. And one of the women from the library, or from the museum, was telling me that a reporter came and did a story about the show. And it was, I just had one quilt, but there were a lot of other quilts there. And she said, well, how do you wash something like that? and the woman from the museum said, it's not washable, it's art. And I thought that was really kind of cool. And I thought, well, it's got pop cans all over it. Why would you even think that you'd want to lay under it? It's like Swiss cheese. It's not going to keep you warm. But it was an odd question.